Hi everyone, this is Chandan and welcome to Chandan Logics. In this video, we'll be looking at a smart way of cracking IBPS CLERK 2019 examination. As we know that IBPS CLERK examination is going to coming soon in few weeks. So I will be showing you a smart way how to crack this examination. As we all know that IBPS is going to conduct examination for 100 marks. We will be having 100 questions and the time duration for that is like 60 minutes, right? And we'll be having 3 divisions as well. That is like 3 sections. One will be like from English, and one more is like quantitative aptitude, and one more is like reasoning part. So we'll be having total 100 questions as we have said. Out of those 100 questions, English will be having 30 questions and the time is like 20 minutes of time. And from quantitative aptitude, you'll be having something like 35 questions and the time is like 20 minutes of time. And reasoning also will be having like 35 questions and the time is like 20 minutes of time, which means you need to spend something like 20 minutes in each and every session, and you can't spend more than that. And you have one more important point as well. In bank examination, you'll be having sectional cutoff as well, and you'll be having sectional timing as well. Why? Because for each and every section you need to spend something like 20 minutes of time, and you can't spend more than that, right? So it is reason you need to have a good practice to maintain the speed and to maintain how you're going to crack more number of questions. So to all these things, you need to have a proper strategy. What many of the guys do is like they will prepare for the examination, but they don't plan the strategy. Preparing for examination is not really important. Your strategy is also really important. Why? Because how many questions you are going to attempt, in what time you are going to attempt, how many you are attempting, and how can you improve your performance, from where you are going to get good number of questions, and what are the areas you are supposed to target, and you need to know all those things. So that is the reason I am here to help you. I will be showing you clearly what are the regions you are supposed to focus if you need to get good score in examination. Okay, so first I will be looking at quantitative aptitude session followed by the remaining sessions. Okay, so in quantitative aptitude we'll be getting questions mostly from simplification, or sometimes we'll be getting questions from approximations, either of them, either from simplifications or from approximations. And the number of questions you'll be getting is like 5 questions from here. You'll be getting 5 questions from here, and you need to mark these 5 questions in something like 2 minutes of time. But as you all know that to solve these 5 questions in 2 minutes of time is really complicated. Why? Because many of the guys, they do a traditional calculation. If you're going to do traditional calculation, then obviously what happens is like you can't solve these questions in something like 2 minutes of time. Then how to solve those questions? Yes, I'll be showing you some smart ways as well. So I will be showing you how to solve some of the questions from previous papers, so that you will be having a clear idea how you can solve those questions in a smart way. And we have done one video on simplifications as well. Even you can watch that video so that you will be getting more knowledge how to solve questions from simplification in a smart way. Okay, so you will be getting simplifications or approximations 5 questions, and you need to score this in something like 2 minutes of time. Why? Because for each and every question you can't spend more than 30 seconds. Why? Because if you look here, you have 35 questions and you have just only 20 minutes of time. So it's like something like 30 to 40 seconds. You can't spend more than that, right? Next, you will be getting questions from number series as well. Number series is also one of the important topic where you will be getting questions frequently in many competitive examination, not only bank examination. In many competitive examinations, you are going to get questions from number series, and the number of questions you will be getting from number series is like 5 questions. And mostly from number series, you will be getting questions based upon difference, logics based upon difference. And mostly what happens is like it will be something like combination of all mathematical operations like square and addition, cube and subtraction, multiplication, addition, all the mathematical operations. So but once if you are having good practice and if you have practiced good number of examples, then obviously you can crack these questions. And even you can crack these questions in something like 2 minutes of time, and you can't spend more than that. Out of these 5 questions, anyway you'll be having 3 questions of a normal one and 2 would be like in a different logic. So what you guys do is like you need to focus on those 2. Why? Because 3 anyway everyone is going to get those marks. If you're going to get those 2 marks as well, then it will be a really an added advantage for you. And don't forget, you can't spend more time over here. Okay, so next one is like quadratic equations. Quadratic equation is also one of the important topic for bank aspirant. Why? Because when you're writing bank examination, in every bank examination you're going to get 5 questions in quadratic equations, right? So quadratic equation you'll be getting 5 questions, and even you need to score these 5 questions in something like 2.5 minutes of time. You can't spend more than that. Okay, And next is like data interpretation. Data interpretation, you can expect something like 10 questions from here. Data interpretation is one of the important topic in bank examination. Why? Because if you are writing something like prelims examination, you'll be getting 10 questions, but if you're going to write something like mains examination, then approximately it will be like 20 questions as well. So you need to focus more on data interpretation. Data interpretation, you know that the graphs will be of different graphs. Sometimes it will be like a tabular graph, sometimes it will be like a line graph, sometimes it will be like a bar graph, sometimes it will be like a pie graph. But all these are like basic concepts whatever we have learned earlier. Data interpretation is simply a combination of percentages, ratio proportions, averages, all these combinations. Okay, so once if you are good on those basics, then calculating data interpretation is like really simple. And truly speaking, questions from data interpretation can be answered much faster. The only thing is like you need to be smart. Once if you're smart and if you're having good experience and if you're trying to solve more number of examples and if you're trying to take more number of mock tests, then solving these questions will be like really simple. Okay, so you can expect something like 10 questions. Now if you observe here, almost 25 questions are covered from here. As I have told you, you'll be getting 35 questions from quantitative aptitude. Out of these 35 questions, already 25 questions are here itself, right? So the remaining questions, what happen is like remaining questions will be from the remaining topics. That is like you'll be getting one question from average, you'll be getting one question from profit and loss, you'll be getting one question from time and work, one question from time and distance. So all these are like only single questions. You can't expect something like 3 questions, 5 questions from here. So what I say you is like first try to focus these 4 regions. If you're trying to focus these 4 regions, make sure that you can get as many marks as possible. And I hope that if you're going to practice really good and if you're really smart and if you're taking good number of mock tests, then I can say that you can score something like 25 out of 25 from here. If not 25, at least you can score something like 23 marks from here. And you can score these 23 marks in something like just 10 minutes of time, 10 to 15 minutes of time, and not more than that. Why? Because you have just only 20 minutes of time. So you can mark this something like in 10 to 15 minutes of time. Why? Because once you are going to practice good number of examples and if you're really good in your concept and if you're really good at looking the questions in a smart way, then these 25 marks can be scored in just 10 minutes of time, okay? Now if you look at the remaining topics, as I have told you, you'll be getting one question from here, and out of these questions as well, even these questions can be answered very easily. And if you look at ages is one of the simplest topic, and it comes frequently in many competitive examinations, not only IBPS examination, it comes in many competitive examinations. And ages is one of the topic where you can mark the answer by just looking at the question itself. Even you not use your pen and paper, just by looking at the question you can mark the answer. If necessary, you can watch our video as well. Why? Because we have done video on ages as well. You can watch that video, you can observe that, you can just feel it, you'll be really feeling amazed while watching that video. Why? Because those questions can be answered in just fraction of seconds. But what actually many of the guys do is like they will be doing some calculation, they will be taking like some x, y and all, they will be doing some nuisance which is truly not required. I think this question can be answered just fraction of seconds. Once if we are going to go through those classes, even you will be coming across that ages is one of the simplest topic after watching those videos. Okay, so you'll be getting one from percentages, one from profit and loss and all. Okay, so what I suggest you to do is like try to score good number of marks from these 4 regions, and out of these remaining 10 questions, try to attempt some good number, something like 5 questions or 6 questions. Once if you're going to do that, then obviously you can get good number of marks from here. And don't forget, you'll be having just only 20 minutes of time. You can't spend more than 20 minutes, just 20 minutes of time. You'll be having just 20 minutes of time. In this 20 minutes of time, you need to crack those 35 questions. If not 35, at least you need to crack something like 30 questions. If you're going to crack 30 questions, then obviously what happens is like you can get good score from here. So now what I will be doing is like I will be showing you some examples. Why? Because I have collected some questions from previous papers. I will be showing you some examples so that you will be getting a clear idea how to be smart. Why? Because anyone can mark the answer, but that is not really important in examination. Why? Because you know that you already clearly know that solving 35 questions in 20 minutes of time, it's not possible. But the motto of the examiner is like the time is like really less and the number of questions is like more, but what examiner is expecting from you is like you need to be unique, you need to be creative. That is what examiner is expecting. So what you need to do is like, if you need to solve those 35 questions in a shorter span of time, you need to be really unique and you need to be really creative. So once if you are going to be smart, then you can solve those questions. So I'll be showing you some smart techniques using the questions whatever that was asked in previous examinations. So question is saying you in this way: 24.8% of 1338 of brackets close. Next one is like brackets open, 15.5% of 945 is equal to how much? This was your question, okay? And this was the exact question, and you have like options, that is like 187.349, and one more option is like 185.349, and one more option is like 183.349, and one more option is like 181.349, and one more option is like none. Okay, so these are like your options. Now if you have observed this question clearly, in this question, if you're going to do the calculation, you need to calculate this question accurately, really accurate. Why? Because if you observe here, all these options are like really closer, 18, 18, 18, 18, and if you look here, 0.349, 0.349, 0.349, 0.349, which means the only thing over here is like only this digit has changed. It's 7, it's 5, it's 3, it's 1. Only this digit has changed. Remaining everything is like same. Now if I need to solve this question, either I need to solve this question accurately or I need to leave this question, yes or no. Then how you need to solve this question in a smart way? If I'm going to solve this question in a normal traditional way, it consumes us a lot of time. Then how to get this answer much faster? Even when the examiner had framed this question, even the examiner motto is like, the student is going to think in a unique way. How he is going to think in a unique way and how he is going to mark this answer. Okay, so I will be showing you one super technique to mark this answer. So for this, what I will be doing is like, I will be using something like digital sum technique. We have done video on digital sum as well. If necessary, you can observe that. Digital sum is like simply simple. What you will do is like, you will add all the numbers and you will be converting it to single digit. Okay, simple thing. You will add all the numbers and you will be converting it to single digit. Let us example, you have 123. You will add all the numbers 1 plus 2 plus 3 and you will say that digital value or like root digit of this number is going to be something like 6. Okay, so digital sum is simply adding all the numbers and converting into single digit. That is like digital sum. And while you are doing digital sum, if sum is like 9, you can neglect that. Okay, we have done clear video. If necessary, you can observe that. Okay, now if you look here, 2 plus 4 plus 8, this is like total 14. 14 means 1 plus 4. Why? Because 14 is like a double digit number. Always you are supposed to make only single digit. 14 is like a double digit. When you add it, this will be 1 plus 4, 5, which means this value is like 5. Next one, 1 and 8 cancel it. Why? Because I have just told you now that is like whenever you come across sum 9, you can simply neglect it. So 3 plus 3, this will be like 6. Okay, now as it is off is nothing but multiplication. 5 6 times 30. 30 means 3 plus 0, 3, which means root digit of this total value is nothing but 3. Okay, simple thing. Root digit is nothing but adding all the numbers and converting it to single digit. So root digit of this is like 3. Look at root digit of this one. 155, total is like 11. 11 means it is like 2. So for this root digit will be like 2. So 9 cancel. 4 plus 5 is like 9. Okay, so when it is like 9, you need to keep it as 9. You can't say like cancel 9 at 0. Okay, it is like just 9. So into 9. So 2 into 9 will be 18. 18 means again this will be 1 plus 8. That is like 9. Okay, so this is like 9. So this whole value will be like 9. For this root digit is like 3. For this root digit is like 9. So 3 minus, you have an operation called minus. 3 minus 9. 3 minus 9 is nothing but minus 6. Yes or no? 3 minus 9 will be minus 6. But you will not have a negative value as it is minus 6. What you will do is like, you need to subtract it from 9. Why? Because as we are converting a root digit value, we got it as minus 6. And for all this, if we have a negative value, you need to just just subtract from 9. When you subtract from 9, 9 minus 6 will be 3, which means the whole resultant value root digit is like 3. If the whole resultant value root digit is like 3, if the quotient root digit is 3, answer root digit also should be like 3. Let us check. 1 plus 8 is like 9, neglected. Even this is like 9, neglected. Now 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 4, 14. 14 means 5. Root digit is like 5, which means this is like a wrong answer. Why? Because we need root digit is 3. Why? Because for the question root digit is 3, answer root digit also should be 3. Okay. Now 1 plus 8 is like 0. This is like 9, cancel it. Now 5 plus 3 plus 4. 5 plus 3 plus 4. 5 plus 3 8. 8 plus 4 is like 12. 12 means 1 plus 2 3. 1 plus 2 is like 3. So here root digit is like 3. So I can definitely say that this is going to be my right answer. Why? Because here root digit is 3. Even for my question I got root digit as 3. Okay. So I can definitely say that answer is going to be for second option. If necessary, you can check here as well. Even this is going to get cancelled. Why? Because 1 plus 8 is like 9. 9 also gets cancelled. 3 3 4, that is like total 10. 10 means it is going to be 1. Okay. So even it is like a wrong answer. Why? Because we need 3. If you look here, even this is going to get cancelled. Even 9 is going to get cancelled. 1 plus 3 plus 4, it is like 8. So even here it is going to get cancelled. So I can simply say that option 2 is going to be my answer, which means this question can be answered by using root digit technique or digital sum technique in just fraction of seconds. And don't forget, as I was explaining you, it is taking time, but if I'm going to do it by my own, it takes just few seconds of time. I can do it in few seconds of time, but I was explaining you, it is consuming time. And while the examiner has given this question, even examiner expectation is like you're going to think in a smart way and you're going to mark the answer, right? Even his expectation is like you're going to think smart. I will show you one more question. So this question is from ages. I will show you one more question, and we have done video on ages as well. If necessary, you can observe it. The question is saying like sum of present age of Suresh and Mahesh is like 51. Ratio of ages of Suresh Mahesh after 3 years is like 9:10. So after 3 years, Suresh Mahesh ages is like 9:10. Question is like what is present age of Mahesh? Actually, if you look here, this question can be answered in just fraction of second without using your pen and paper. Just fraction of seconds. Why? Because if you look at the options are like 30, 27, 25, 24, and one more option is like none of the above. Okay, so simple. This question can be answered in just fraction of second. And don't forget, whenever you're verifying the option, you need to make sure that what actually the question is going to say. In this, the question is saying like what is present age of Mahesh? Present age of Mahesh. Now if you observe here, in the question you have a clear information saying that Suresh to Mahesh ages ratio 9:10, which means Mahesh age should be a multiple of 10 when after 3 years. After 3 years, Mahesh age should be a multiple of 10, which means if I add 3, why? Because these are present ages. If I add 3, this will be after 3 years. After 3 years, Mahesh age should be a multiple of 10. Now 30 plus 3 will be 33. 33 is not a multiple of 10. Wrong answer. 27 plus 3, 30 is a multiple of 10, which means there is a chance of 27 being as an answer. Let us look at the next one. 25 plus 3, 28. 28 is also wrong answer. Why? Because 28 is not a multiple of 10. 24 plus 3, 27. 27 is also not a multiple of 10. Even it is wrong answer. So I can simply say that answer is going to be 27. Why? Because 27 plus 3, it is going to be 30, and 30 is like a multiple of 10. Now if you have observed this one, if someone is going to do in a normal way, he is going to take a lot of time. But if you are going to go with option verification, and if you are going to do in a smart way, then this question can be answered in just fraction of seconds. Yes or no? So competitive exam is all about being smart. How smart you are, it's really important. If you are going to be smart, you can mark the answer much faster than your competitor. But if you're going to follow some traditional techniques, and if you're going to do what each and everyone is going to do, then you can't be unique. It's just a process of selecting the best person. Competitive exam is all about selecting just a best person out of the rest of the guys. So if you need to be best, definitely you need to be unique. If you're going to be unique, only then you can score good number of marks. Okay, I will show you one more question as well. Now this question is from quadratic equation. Okay, as I told you, quadratic equation is also one of the important topic. So let us look at this one. Question is like x square minus 11x minus 432 is equal to 0. One more is like y square minus 18y minus 280 is equal to 0, and you need to select the option. And as you know that you'll be having total 5 options. One option is like x less than y, one more option is like x greater than y, x less than equal to y, x greater than equal to y, x is equal to y, or no relation, yes or no. So now if you observe here, this was the exact question that was asked in 2018 prelims examination, exact question, and this question can be answered in no matter of time, just fraction of seconds, no matter of time. You need not spend any time as well. I can simply say that answer for this question is like 5th option, that is like no relation or can't be determined, just fraction of seconds. Answer for this will be no relation or can't be determined. Why? Because if you observe here, whenever you have the c value, that is like both of them as negative, you can simply say that answer for this question will be like no relation. Let us example, if the equation is in this way, ax square plus bx plus c, it is equal to 0. Actually this is your equation, right? Now what I'm trying to say is like, if the value of c is like negative, that is for this equation and for this equation, that is a y square plus by minus c is equal to 0. Whenever you have c value as negative, both c values are negative, you can directly say that answer is like no relation. And whatever the signs here, it maybe it's not a matter, that is like plus or minus, what it may be, it is plus, minus, or minus, plus is not a matter. Simply speaking, if the value of c, both values of c are like negative, I can simply say that answer is like no relation, which means you can mark this answer in just fraction of seconds. So if you have observed here, knowing the techniques and if you are going to write the examination, then you can solve these questions very easily. But if you are not going to know the techniques and if you are just going and writing the examination, maybe you are going to mark the answer, but that will not help you to crack the examination. So I request all you guys to be smart while you're writing the examination. Once if you're going to be smart, then you can mark these answers very easily. Now some of you have a doubt, what happens if it is not in this way? Let us say what happens if it's a different equation? Yes, even if it's like a different equation, you'll have much more techniques as well. We'll be doing some more videos, so in that videos I'll be showing you what happens if it is different as well. Okay, so this would be the proper strategy for clearing something like quant session. So what you will do is like concentrate more on the areas whatever I have told you. If you're going to focus these regions, then these questions can be answered very easily and you can score good marks as well. And don't forget, if you need to score good marks, it's all about writing number of mock tests. If you're going to write more number of mock tests and if you're going to practice them well and if you're going to take analysis of what you have written, if you're going to do all those things, then you can score good. Just knowing, just learning the techniques, it's not going to help you. Why? Because learning the technique is different from application of the technique. Why? Because learning is a different strategy, application is a different strategy. If you're going to apply them in examination, then you'll be coming across how much time you're consuming. Why? Because in government examination, time is really important. Okay, so follow this, and so that I hope that you'll be getting good score in quantitative aptitude session. Okay, so let us look at the next part, that is like reasoning. As I have told you, from reasoning also you'll be getting 35 questions and you'll be having only 20 minutes of time. Okay, so the reasoning area where you are supposed to focus more. Okay, so if you observe here, as we'll be having 35 questions, coding and decoding is one of the important topic. So coding and decoding, you'll be having different formats of asking coding and decoding, but generally what happens is like whenever the questions that are going to come in coding and decoding, the questions will be like either condition based coding and decoding, or sometimes it will be like they are playing football is written as KO, LO, PO, RA in this format as well. Okay, any of the formats. Okay, so it will be something like 5 questions. You'll be getting 5 questions from here. Okay, so you can mark those questions in just fraction of seconds. In something like 2 minutes is sufficient, I think. Not more than 2 minutes. You can't spend more than 2 minutes, right? Okay. Next, it's like code inequalities. Code inequalities also you'll be getting 5 questions, or sometimes you'll be getting 3 questions as well. 5 or 3 questions dependent. So you'll be getting 3 or 5 questions from code inequalities. And code inequalities is also one of the simplest topic. You'll be having some certain rules. Once if those rules are clear, then you can solve these questions very easily. Okay. Next one is like blood relation. Blood relation is also the topic which comes frequently. You'll be getting something like 3 questions. They will be framing some family tree over there, saying like A is father of B, B is son of D, D is mother of E. They'll be framing some family tree, something like 8 to 10 persons over there, and based upon those 10%, they will be asking 3 questions, which is like really easy, I hope, once if you are good at your basics. So from blood relations, you'll be getting 3 questions. You can crack those questions very easily. And from directions as well, you can expect something like 2 questions. Even this will be like a normal questions where you can mark those answers easily as well. So from directions, 2 questions. And one more important, alphanumeric sequence test. It is like one of the simplest topic. It's like really simple topic. Just you'll be having something like 2 to 3 rules. It is like only simplest topic. So you'll be getting something like 5 questions from here. Why? Because whenever you're writing clerk examinations, they'll be focusing on alphanumeric sequence test, where you'll be getting 5 questions from here, and these questions can be answered very faster. Okay. And next one is like syllogisms. Syllogisms is also one of the important topic, very important topic. So from syllogisms also you can expect something like 5 questions from here. And if you have observed, nowadays most of the bank examinations, syllogisms has been framing very frequently, where you're getting questions like few, only few, a few, in this way. So you need to be updated across with those terms as well. Why? Because nowadays the questions have been from only those particular regions. Okay. So you'll be getting 5 questions from here as well. And next very important region, very important region, that is seating arrangement and puzzles. From seating arrangement and puzzles, you can easily expect something like 15 questions. Easily you can expect something like 15 questions. Why? Because from seating arrangement you'll be getting 10 questions, and from puzzles you'll be getting 5 questions. So both of them together it will be like 15 questions. And whenever you're trying to do questions from seating arrangement, you need to be really careful. Why am I saying careful is like, many of the guys, what they do is like, they will be coming across 1-2 examples while they are practicing in seating arrangement, and they will think that seating arrangement is like a simplest topic. No, seating arrangement is like simple one for the person who have practiced more number of examples. Why? Because when you're trying to crack seating arrangement, what happens is like, all the questions will not be like easy one. As I have told you, seating arrangement puzzles you'll be getting 3 questions. Most of the time what happens is like, 3 questions will not be simple. 2 will be like simple and moderate, but 1 will be like a complicated one. So if you need to decide which is like simple, which is like complicated, first you need to be aware of what are the different type of questions that are going to come in seating arrangement or puzzles, how the questions are framed. So when it is going to be easy, when you can handle those questions, you need to be aware of all those things. Once if you are aware of that, then you can mark those, you can select those questions easily. Why? Because just solving is not a matter. Selecting the question is also really important. Why? Because let us example, you are trying to solve one seating arrangement question, and later after 10 minutes you came to know that you are unable to get the answer. So you are missing something, which means you're wasting your 10 minutes of time, and even then you're going to get result like 0 marks from there, which is like a nuisance. So a smart guy will not do those things. That is the reason what I'm trying to say is like, whenever you're trying to do questions from seating arrangement puzzles, once if you are aware of how the questions look in seating arrangement, then you need to read the question and you need to select it, which will be the easiest one, which one you can crack, so that you can solve that questions easily. So in seating arrangement what happens is like, the questions will be like facing towards center for the circle, facing towards outside the circle when it is like a round table. When it is like a linear arrangement, the questions will be like persons facing north, persons facing south, persons facing east. Mostly the questions will be like north south only. So whenever you have questions in this way, you can handle it. If it's like saying like question like persons facing towards north direction, it's like a simple question, you can mark this answer. If it is like something like north south combination, some are facing north, some are facing south, now it's like little complicated. So what you need is like, first you need to have a proper knowledge which type of questions you are supposed to select, which type of questions you are supposed to skip. Why? Because just trying to attempt the examination is not a good thing. So when you're trying to attempt the examination, you need to know where to attempt, where to skip the question. Even it is like really important. Why? Because a smart guy do only those things. Okay. Next is like ranking. From ranking you can expect something like 1 or 2 questions from ranking. Why? Because from ranking also you're going to get questions. And one more is like machine input output. Machine input output, actually it is like a 5-mark question if you're writing something like PO examinations and all. But nowadays what happens is like, you're getting in clerk examinations as well, so you need to be ready for that as well. Even machine input output, once if you know how to solve it, it is like just a logic. Once if you know the logic, then you can solve those questions very easily. Okay, so you need to focus mainly on this region. Why? Because even you need to focus this region as well. Why? Because you're getting almost like 15 marks from here. But I am not saying this region directly. Why? Means most of the time what happens is like, these 2 topics you will not have any shortcuts. As you does not have any shortcut, the only thing is like practice. If you have practiced a good number of examples, then you can crack the question. But if you have not done a proper practice, then obviously what happens is like, you can't crack those seating arrangement questions. So if you need to crack seating arrangement, or if you need to crack puzzle, then what you need is like, you need to have good practice. But if the remaining topics, these topics you'll have some certain shortcuts where you'll be having some certain rules, so you can mark those questions easily. So make sure that whenever you're trying to attempt reasoning paper, first make sure that you attempt these questions. Why? Because coding and decoding 5 questions, just 2 minutes of time. Syllogisms 5 questions, just 2 minutes of time. Code inequalities 5 questions, just 2 minutes of time. Blood relation 3 questions, just 1.5 minute of time. Directions 2 questions, just 2 minutes of time. These are like very simple questions. Why? Because these topics will have some certain shortcuts and these questions can be answered very easily. So that is the reason first focus on these regions where you can almost get something like 20 marks from there. Okay, when you're going to focus these regions. After that, what you can do is like try to select some 2 questions or at least 1 question, or 2 question. If you are really good, you can do 3 questions as well, but try to select at least 1 question out of these 3. If you're going to select at least 1 question from seating arrangement, puzzles together, then what happens is like if you're going to crack 1 question, you can easily score 5 marks from there. That is the reason what you will do is like make sure that you crack marks from here definitely, where you can score something like 20 marks from here itself. The remaining, it's like you, that is like how you have practiced at your seating arrangement puzzles. If you have good practice and if you have good knowledge on that, then you can select at least 1 question. If you are really good, then you can go with 3 questions as well. So at least 1 question so that you can crack 5 questions, so that you can get some good score over here. Okay, so make sure you plan the proper strategy for this one. As I have told you, if you are going to follow this strategy, you can definitely get good score in reasoning as well. Okay, so don't forget, focus these regions and followed by this region. And while you're going to attempt the examination, initial days as well, you need to take some mock tests. Why? Because if you're going to take some mock tests, then you'll be getting an idea how many marks you're getting, whether you're able to get those in certain time or not. Why? Because getting the mark, everyone is going to get that mark, but in a limited time you're going to get that mark. Why? Because we have 35 questions and we have just 20 minutes of time. So time is limited. In that limited time, how you're going to crack those questions, it's really important. So to crack those questions in a limited time, what you need is like practice. If you're going to practice a lot, then what happens is like your speed, your consistency, your accuracy, everything is going to be increased there. So the only secret to crack your examination, it's like practice. If you're going to practice good number of questions and if you're trying to write more number of mock tests, then you can crack these questions very easily. Okay, so this is like reasoning part. Next we'll be looking at English as well. As I had told you, from English you'll be getting something like 30 questions from English, and even there you'll be having like again 20 minutes of time. Okay, so even to crack good number of questions from English, so I suggest you that you need to be good at reading your newspapers as well. So try to read at least daily 20 minutes of time. Try to read at least 20 minutes of time. If you're going to spend at least 20 minutes for reading English newspaper, then obviously what happens is like you can improve your knowledge, your reading skills, your understanding skills. You can improve all these things. Why? Because most of the time many of the guys fail to get good number of marks in English. Why? The reason is like they're not good at understanding. As they're not good at understanding, they were unable to understand the questions clearly. That is the reason they were unable to crack good number of marks from there. So try to read newspapers daily, something like 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time. Make sure that you're strong in your vocabulary. So try to make all these things clear and try to write as many exams as possible. Okay, so as many exams as possible. If you're going to do that, then obviously scoring here also it will be like easy. Now if you look at English point of view, the topics that are going to come, so first is like reading comprehension. You know that from reading comprehension you'll be getting questions frequently. So if you are going to write bank examination, reading comprehension is one of the important topic where you'll be getting questions frequently, and you can expect something like reading comprehension 8 questions from reading comprehension. That is like from 7 to 8 questions you can easily expect from reading comprehension. There you'll be having something like synonyms, antonyms, even those questions as well. Okay, so if you're going to be good at reading newspaper and all, you can easily crack those questions. Reading comprehension is like really important. And closed text as well. From closed text also you'll be getting something like 5 questions. Even you can crack those questions very easily. And it's all about once if you're good at understanding and once if you're good at reading newspapers and if you're habituated with reading newspaper, then solving English session will be like easy. For those guys who are good at reading newspaper, if you don't have a habit of reading newspaper, so try to start from now itself. If you're going to start from now itself, at least you'll be getting an idea how to read them, how to understand them, from where you're going to get questions, all these things. Okay, so from closed text you'll be getting 5 questions. You can mark those answers very easily. Okay, next one, you'll be having like fillets as well. That is like sometimes you'll be getting questions like single fillets and sometimes you'll be getting double fillets as well, and you'll be getting something like 5 questions from here as well. Now whenever you're looking at these fillets, anyway you'll be having the options. Now if you look at that examination point of view, you may not know the exact answer, but as you have the options, if you have a proper knowledge or if you have like good knowledge, then what happens is like at least you can recognize the wrong answers. If you're able to recognize the wrong answer, even then it's like a good sake, even then you can get the answer. The examiner is not expecting something like to mark the right answer directly. He is expecting you to at least set the wrong answer. If you're going to eliminate the wrong answers, then definitely you're going to get the right answer. Yes or no? So from fillets, you will be getting either single fillets or double fillets. You'll be getting 5 questions from here. Okay. Next one more important, that is like spotting error. From spotting error you'll be getting like 5 questions as well. So even to crack spotting error questions, even from there you need to be good at your reading skills. So if you're good at your reading skills, you may not know the rules how you're going to eliminate that, but once if you're habituated about reading some novels or books or newspapers, then you can easily recognize that there is a mistake in this particular region. When you're recognizing that, it does not mean that you know the rule. Even if you does not know the rule, what happens is like as you are good at reading some novels and reading some standard books, then the English whatever you're going to read there, it is like really good. So that is the reason what happens is like even if you does not have a proper knowledge on rules, then you can at least recognize which is like a wrong. Okay, so from spotting errors as well you'll be getting 5 questions, and if you're good at reading them, then obviously you can mark them. Next is like sentence improvement. So even here sometimes you're going to get 5 questions from sentence improvement. What happens is like one particular region he will be giving the statement was not framed good, so they will ask us like how to improve the statement. So what would be the better statement formation over there? So even from sentence improvement you'll be getting 5 questions. Next one is like parajumble. So parajumble you'll be getting something like 5 questions from parajumble as well. Once if you're going to be good at your reading, once if you're good at understanding, it's like simply you'll be having something like 5 statements or 6 statements. You need to arrange them in a proper order, which will be the first statement, second statement, third statement, fourth statement, fifth statement, and so on. So once if you are good at how the statements are connected, and if you are going to understand what is happening there, then you can mark these questions as well. Okay, 5 questions from parajumble. So you'll be getting questions from sentence rearrangement as well, where you'll be getting 5 questions from here. Their questions look like is like there's some statements will be like A, B, C, D statements. You need to arrange them in a proper order. So one statement, it will be divided into A, B, C, D and all. So what you need to do is like they will be giving an option which would be the proper order of the statement. So you need to rearrange them in a proper order, and you need to select the best alternate option from there. Okay, so even this is like simple once if you are good at reading it. So once if you are good at reading and if you're good at observing them, then obviously you can mark this answer. So the advantage from English part is like once if you're good at understanding and once if you're having good reading skills, then obviously you can score good marks from here. And this is like one of the region where you can get good score in less span of time. Why? Because you don't apply something like shortcuts and all. It's just all about looking and marking the answer. But who can mark these answers in a proper way means once if you are having good knowledge on English, then those persons can mark these answers easily. And getting good knowledge you can get in many ways as well. So to get that knowledge, it doesn't mean like you need to learn rules and all. Why? Because many of the guys, they mark the answers without knowing the rule as well. But how they do is like those guys are good at reading newspapers. What they do is like they read newspapers daily and they read some standard novels, standard books. When they're going to do that, what generally happens is like even if they does not know what actually the rule is, but they can recognize the wrong sentence, they can recognize where is the error, they can place what would be the best statement over there. So that is the reason what I suggest you is like even if you're not trying to learn the rules, it's like a secondary. Learning the rules, apart from that, what you need to do is like you need to practice, you need to read newspaper, you need to have to read something like good novels. If you're habituated to that, then what happens is like you can easily score good mark from English as well. Okay, so whatever we have said till now, if you're going to follow this strategy, then definitely you'll be getting good score in IBPS CLERK 2019. Okay, so I'm hoping that you're going to do really the best by following all this thing, and I need all you guys to share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos with maximum number of friends. Okay, so thank you, have a nice day, meet in the next session, bye bye.